If you're struggling with the dip and drive for your log push press, then make sure you watch this video to the end because I'm going to teach you the technical changes you need to make so that you get a weightless and stable rack position. But I'm not going to teach you that. I'm going to show you how to build a perfect 8-week training phase so that you can highlight and expose this issue and really work on it so that you come out at the end of the training block with a perfect rack position and a perfect dip and drive so you can get the biggest log press possible for you. So if you think to yourself, Shane, I think I've got a good dip and drive, but I'm not really sure. Well, first of all, with the log press, we need to make sure that it feels weightless in rack position. So if you feel like you're being crushed when the log is in your rack position on your shoulders, then you probably haven't acquired the perfect stable rack position. Also, when you dip, so when you bend your knees and you dip down to do your log push press, you shouldn't really feel any stress through the knee joint. You should feel a bit of loading in the hips and glutes and quads, and the knees themselves should be, pretty safe in that position as long as you're maintaining the correct positions through the dip. So if you are coming into any issues like knee pain or you feel like the log is crushing you, or even when you do dip down, maybe you just don't feel strong there and you feel as though you're going to continue into a full squat and drop. We need to find a perfect position that's strong and stable and feels weightless, or else you're not going to be able to put proper leg drive into your log press and you're going to be leaving kilos out there that you can easily grab without actually getting stronger. Sometimes to get more weight on a log, you don't need to necessarily get stronger, you need to get better at logging. So, warning signs for how to find if you're having the wrong dip position. You always want to record your log press from the side. A front angle video is all right. Looks a bit better on Instagram, doesn't it? But let's be honest, it doesn't really show us or expose any weak positions. Just like a deadlift, you can look from the front, it looks perfect. Look from the side like a shitting dog. So we need to film from the side so we can really see and expose these positions. When we record from the side, we want to see the shoulders perfectly stacked above the hips. And as we dip, we should maintain a vertical torso. Our glutes and shoulders should drop at the same time. Oftentimes, the big mistake people make is the glutes come forward. So this is a really big sign that we need to look for when you're doing a dip on a log push press. Because of the size of the implement, it's much harder to dip with a vertical torso. And your knee will end up tracking forward, putting a lot of stress on the knee. We need to make sure we acquire a perfect vertical torso on our dip, and we're tracking the knees not just forward but out, and we're loading the glutes and hips. This is the biggest mistake people make on the log push press. So how would you build a program around this so that we're able to fix this issue? Well, really, we need to just make sure that we're using volume and frequency as our main drivers. You have 3 programming variables that you would play with. You have intensity or load, you have frequency, how many times per week, and volume, how many reps and sets per session. So we want to play with only 2 of these at a time. You can't really drive all 3 at the same time. You won't recover. To fix a technical issue, we need to drive volume and we need to drive frequency. So we need to do more of it and more times per week. So more reps in the session, more frequency, more times per week. So we're going to build a program that's twice a week, and we're going to make sure that we're mainly focusing on press from chest work. If you're struggling with your dip and drive, we need to phase our training in. So during this phase, we're not going to have too much clean focus because we're going to hone in on the issue of the dip and drive. So I'm going to build your program on the MST Systems app that's going to be able to perfectly fix this issue. If you want to try the app out for yourself, click the link in the description below, go to the website. There's a 7-day free trial, won't cost you a penny. You can build the program along with me. You can try it for a week, and if it's for you, hit the subscription, man. $29.99 a month, best money you'll spend on your log press. So on the MST Systems app, we hit build custom program, home team. We'll go to off season. Specific press is day number 1 you can build. So we're going to build the program around accumulation on the specific press. Accumulation and intensification, the meaning between those is intensification basically means extracting a 1 rep max, driving intensity as the main driver of the program. Accumulations where we're going to hit more volume, a little bit lighter loads, and we can work a bit more on technique and really help build and change this dip and drive mechanic on the log. So once we go into this here, we always want to assign a general preparation, and we're going to assign the MST Big 5 mandatory prep. This is basically 5 exercises that will just give you good resilience to injury and open up positions for your actual training session. When we hit the movement prep section for the specific press, now we can pick a movement prep specific to you so that it will help your session go better. So we can do a couple of different things here. We can just activate muscle groups that you're going to be using in the log press, get a little bit of blood flow, or we can actively work on a mobility restriction. So let's just say, for example, you feel like you can't lock out the log properly overhead, feel a little restriction in your lats and your overhead position. Maybe we assign this first movement preparation here, which goes through some different pullover variations and passive hangs. Passive hangs are in the general prep as well, but this will add another layer onto that so that you can acquire the perfect position. So let's assign this. Get a sip of this. So now we're going into your specific press. We're obviously going to hit log press, and we're going to scroll down. There's currently 8 programs in the accumulation section, but there's one here, Master Your Log. We're going to assign this. The reason for this is because the Master Your Log phase has been specifically written to help you master all aspects of the log. The dip and drive and rack position are the most commonly done incorrect, inefficient, whatever you want to call it, position on the log. So the Master Your Log phase has a lot of work in to help you dip and drive in your rack position, and it's going to expose you to those positions for longer, make you spend more time there, etc. Now, the Strongman press section of the app, we're going to add a strict log press, and we're going to go with the easy background volume phase. So the reason for this is because with the strict log, it allows you to basically build specific strength in the rack position, because on your push press log, you obviously leg drive it to maybe like eyebrow height, head height, and then you lock out. So we're not actually building strength for this initial range. So the strict log is going to allow us to accumulate more volume off of the chest and spend more time on the chest and just build strength and stability around that. It's just going to help you gain actual strength on the concentric and eccentric, as well as just the isometric of staying in rack position. So by spending more time in the position, that's one of the key things you need to take away from any weak position, is spending more time there. If you're a little bit unsure about when I'm saying rack position and dip and drive, etc., I do have a log tutorial. It's a 4-part video series actually that goes over the clean, it goes over the rack position / dip and drive, it goes over your actual push press and your lockout position and keeping your head back, and your strict press. So make sure you check out the full log press tutorial if you're unsure of the positions I was speaking about. So now that we've added our strict press and our log push press and movement prep, we need to add a secondary press assistance. In terms of what you add here, this isn't actually going to be of any specific benefit to your rack position. We're going to have taken care of that in the first 2 exercises, but I do like to use 3 press variations for most people. So we're going to add a 45-degree incline bench here. So we're going to go with the eccentric isometric phase here. The reason why I'm choosing this is because it's really good as an accumulation phase, because it prioritizes eccentrics for the first 4 weeks and isometrics for the final 4 weeks. Usually on the press, people don't really exaggerate the eccentric and yielding isometrics, so it gives us some good, quick strength adaptations that we can take and help increase our pressing strength. Like I say, this isn't going to help the rack or the dip and drive specifically, but it's going to help build strength in those triceps. Now, it's quite important that we apply the correct assistance to help our pressing, and it keeps our shoulders nice and healthy. So there's 3 sections here to fill out shoulder stability. I'm going to go with some kind of basics that I like, some of my favorites. So we're going to go and we're going to start with a Powell raise, and we're going to do the 12 to 6 linear progression method, because I do like to take these quite heavy. For the second exercise, we're going to go with a trap 3 raise. The trap 3 is the lower head of the trap. It is a very detrained muscle that, basically it has a big role in stability at the shoulder joint. So by training it, we're going to be able to increase the efficiency neurally. So neurally meaning signals from the brain to the muscle. Imagine your brain is sending signals into your triceps, into your shoulder, etc., to press overhead. Now imagine that there's like a little bit of a roadblock along the way, or there's a little bit of an issue, there's some pothole action, there's some issues there. This is kind of what shoulder stability fixes. If there's a smooth pathway, e.g. things are healthy and safe, then you're able to send stronger signals to the triceps. So shoulder stability is all about creating safety so that the signals that can be sent to your pressing muscles aren't interfered with in any way, so you're able to express your strength better. So sometimes people think of shoulder stability of fixing like wobbly overhead positions. That's not necessarily the case, although it can help with that. It's more about making sure there's no muscle imbalances so that we're able to, work neurally a lot more efficiently. So anyway, strong and nasty sets. a favorite of mine to use on trap 3s because they implement pauses, and on the trap 3 you can't really do too much weight. It's all about technique, so the extra pauses really help you scale back the load and really feel the contraction. Final thing I'll add in here is I'll go with a loo raise. A loo raise is basically kind of like a side lateral raise where you go all the way overhead. We also layered a movement prep that helped with the overhead position. The loo raise will also do that, so we may as well do that. We could add, and I would usually add conditioning here as well, but for the sake of this video, we will skip these final two and build session. Now, we actually have 2 sessions that we need to work with when we're building our phase. So we're going to go into the squat and flow press session. We're going to go into accumulation again. And I'm just going to skip these preps, but you would add your general preparation and a movement prep as well if needed. Squat, we're going to go with a front squat. The reason why we're going with the front squat is because we're trying to build the rack position and strengthen the rack position for the log. With the front squat, you can add straps instead of being in the full Olympic rack, and you can put yourself in pretty much the log press rack position on a front squat, so it has real specific carryover to the rack position of the log. I would go with a Travis Mash phase here. The Travis Mash phase is one of my favorite training cycles to run on the front squat. It has extended isometrics not only in the bottom position but in rack position. It gives you the strongest upper back and rack position possible. You can't not get strong doing this phase. If you do that phase, you don't come out an animal, you have done something wrong. You're reading things wrong, you're doing things wrong. This phase builds savage rack position, so do that. Then we're going to go into the flow state press. Flow state press just means that this press session is more focused upon getting into a flow state and being able to work without your brain telling you things. So even though we have positions to work on, we're not actively conscious during them. It implements things like EMOMs, every 90 seconds work, timed rest, etc. So that maybe the first 3 rounds you're thinking about your positions, but then after that you get into flow state and you're just repeating them without the conscious decision to acquire those positions. Anyway, go into flow log press, and we're going to run this background overhead volume. This has a lot of pauses in rack, a lot of pauses overhead, and you superset it with a vertical pull, either a neutral grip pull up, or if you're a fat bastard, you can do a neutral grip lat pull down. And it's going to build a really strong upper back and really strong rack position. So it's going to really complement everything we're doing on the initial training day. Now, during this day here, we can add other exercises here. So we could add some hip and knee stability if needed. But because we're going to go in and we're going to focus on the pressure in this phase, I'm actually going to add another shoulder stability exercise here, just so that we're getting a little bit more work in specific to our goals of this training block. So I'm going to go with a bottom-up kettlebell press. The reason for the bottom-up kettlebell press is just because it's going to help train external rotation, and we didn't really take care of that on the initial day. We mainly went with concentric eccentric movements, so we're going to take care of some external rotation and isometric strength for the bottom kettlebell press, and also it's going to help with our overhead mobility as well, so it's kind of layering on from day 1 as well. So after we've done that, we do have the ability to add a tricep isolation exercise. So we're going to go with overhead rope extension, simple linear progression model. The reason for that is because it will open up the overhead position again and stretch the lats. The overhead extension will hit the long head of the tricep. The long head of the tricep is the head of the tricep that's most dominant during the overhead press. It's going to help with your overhead press lockout, basically. So I'm going to go ahead and skip the rest of the exercises in the app and build this training phase, and then show you what it looks like once it's all built and we actually get into the session. So once we've built all our sessions, we hit build program. I'm just going to call this log, press, dip, and drive focus. So once that's built, we hit view custom programs, log, press, dip, and drive focus, activate it. Boom. Go to the workout section. We can go into session 1. Skip our readiness questions. And here we can see the program that we've built. We're starting with our movement prep. So we can see here, this video will show you exactly what to do for your movement preps. We've got our log press program here, where it's telling us exactly what to do. As you can see, there is a lot of text in this Master Your Log program. It's telling you exactly where to put your body and what to do, but you can also go on our YouTube and watch the log press dip and drive video and get a little bit more, a bit more visual aid there, so to speak. the log strict press. We've got the program and protocol here. We've got our incline, our powers, trap frees, and loo raises. So everything here has got a video showing you how to do it. And yeah, we've basically built this perfect program. If we go to session 3, we can see we've got the front squats, the flow log, the bottom up press, and the rope extension. So the front squat here, again, will tell you exactly where to pause, how long to pause, etc. And our flow log press, here we've got our superset. So we've got our clean and press log superset with the neutral grip dead hang chin ups, all of that pull down. Again, I kind of threw in the potential fix of the assistance there, the overhead position. So that neutral grip dead hang pull up will help with that as well. So there you go, team. That's a little video showing you how you can build a program. Hopefully you guys can take something away. But if you're struggling, you don't understand some of the concepts and you just wish to do it nice and easy, make sure you check out the app. Click the link in the description below, go to the website, 7-day free trial, and you can basically follow along and build this program if needed, or maybe make some little tweaks and add other exercises in. If you do subscribe, it's $29.99 a month. $29.99 a month for this. It's ridiculous. Also get access to our Facebook group. So if you have any other questions or queries or issues, you can post in the Facebook group and I can answer them, teach you how to build the perfect training phase around your dysfunctions and issues, and also give technical feedback. So you can post videos in the Facebook group. Hey Shane, how's my dip and drive look? Record it from the front, mate. Record from the side. Sort it out. I'll tell you what to do. And then we'll be able to build the perfect program and build your technique over the weeks. You ain't going to get much better than that for a cheap subscription of $29.99. Check it out. Description below.